Have a lot of fun. This is something that when back in 2020, if you guys knew me back in 2020, I was, I'm not going to say at a low part, but that was kind of after COVID. I was right at that burnout point where give me 3, 4 more months, this gym probably would have shut down, right? This sort of format, I've added some things to it, but this is what really sort of shot me forward into kind of where the gym's at now. There was a lot of growth through that time, and this was to really help with it, and there's still a lot of things I took from that goal setting back in 2020. Obviously, it's changed a little bit, but found it very, very helpful and very insightful, and what I love most about it is it's not just fitness, right? Fitness goals are only gonna get us so far. It's what else bleeds into life, right? And our philosophy here is whatever you're doing in here should enhance what you're doing out in the real world, not just be really good at this one thing. Cool? Does that work? All right, so we're gonna go through 5 different steps. The first one we're gonna talk about dream state. This is where we dream. This is when you decide who you wanna become, what are the cool things that you wanna do. After that, we're gonna break it down into core values, something that Jamie's loved ever since I brought it up. But core values, why are things important to you? You know what I mean? You can dream to get a 200-pound snatch, but if it doesn't add any significance to your life, the risk versus reward, it's a lot higher, right? Then we're gonna learn goals and habits and mantras. These things sort of flow into each other. The goals and habits, it's good to have a goal. It's good to say, hey, I wanna get a 200-pound snatch, but if you don't have the correct habits to get to that 200-pound snatch, what good is that gonna do, right? We're just gonna be dreaming. And then mantras are I am statements. This is where we really kind of get into the significance behind it. This sort of just reiterates who is that person you want to become and why. And then the last thing, we're going to do habit tracking. By far my favorite thing that I think I've ever implemented in my life is going to be habit tracking. We talk about consistency all the time, but how can you measure consistency, right? If I say, hey, do you guys drink water daily? You're like, sure. If I'm like, do you drink half your body weight in ounces water daily? I don't really know, okay? So now you can start tracking those things very similar to what we do in here, where we track it, we have data, we know what we're good at, what we're not so good at, what we can improve on, that sort of thing. Cool? All right. So first we're gonna talk about dream state. So if you guys want, let's turn the second, most of you guys already did. So for this exercise, I want you to imagine what a perfect day would look like, okay? There's no timeline here. So this could be a year, this could be next month, 5 years, 10 years. When I did this, I had just turned 30. So when I talked about my dream state, it was my 40th birthday, right? Very significant milestone for a lot of us. So when I talked about my dream state and where I was at, that was 10 years from now. But if something is significant in 5 years, I know Tiffany's turning 80 in like 3 years. So, if she still wants to look like J-Lo. Hashtag dream state. There you go, that's the new thing. But yeah, so I want you guys just to be unreasonable here, okay? We're gonna break out. I'm gonna give you guys about a good solid 10 minutes just to work on this, okay? I'm gonna put on some dope music, just let the ideas flow. What do you wanna do? Literally be unreasonable. This isn't a pass or fail. I'm not gonna be reading this. This is primarily for you guys. So focus on what you want out of life. And the biggest thing I need from you here is to write it in the present tense, okay? So write it as if you are there, if Jackie is there and she is doing whatever. I woke up, I got to spend time with so-and-so, I still get to see Manny, even though he's giving me all gray hairs, all that sort of thing, right? And then the last thing is don't use soft words, okay? Soft words are like want, would like, maybe, possibly. I wanna do this. I wanna do this. You should never use that anyway, okay? But I will, right? I will wake up, like mine personally, I will wake up with my house that's lakeside, where Kinsey and I go on a morning walk, we cook breakfast together, those sorts of things, right, where you know it's going to happen. Cool? Does that make sense? So we have some prompts for you guys as well. You can kind of dive through those. It's pretty linear, so you guys can kind of float through them, kind of see, how that day would look like. So yeah, if you guys just want to chill, hang out, or just kind of think you don't have to write, this is mainly for you guys. Cool? Does that work? All right, so give us about 10 minutes. If you guys have any questions, holler. I keep doing it. Dream state's fun, huh? Isn't it great? It's true, you know, and even just how we speak to ourselves and the words that we use, right? Whenever you come in here and you're like, hey, this workout's gonna be really hard, guess what? The workout's gonna be really hard. But if you're saying, hey, I'm really, really strong, and this is the Be More Confidence core value that we love so much, as you guys get stronger in here, now the weight's coming up easier, right? Now you're like, man, this is gonna be a tough workout, but I have prepared for this. I have built the strength and the capacity for this, right? So same thing with this dream state is we're always told what we can't do, right? We're like, man, I'd love to make, you know, $500,000, but I don't think I could really do that, you know? So it's nice because there's no limits here. Okay, there's no limits in what you want. And I say that just in anything in life, right? There should be no limits on what you're able to achieve. Cool? All right, now we're gonna jump into core values. My absolute favorite. Something when there was a question about goals, and you know, my biggest thing is goals always change. Core values will not, right? If you guys haven't heard of core values, they're criteria or standards that guide your choice of people, actions, events, situations, that sort of thing, right? Most of your decisions are based on these values, and we don't do these consciously, right? Most of the time, we act in accordance with our core values, and then afterwards, we then get a light bulb like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. My personal ones are fun, compassion, influence, optimism, and service. Pretty fitting, huh? Would you say? So something I kind of always go back to with core values is I get to do this because I want to serve, because I want to influence, and I want to make things fun. However, I could go do whatever in the world, and my core value still is going to be service, right? That is what fills my cup. So it's not necessarily an identity tied to CrossFit Loveland or owning a gym or coaching. It's more who I am as a person, and I love to give. Why do you think there's only 3 coaches stocking and not my stocking? Because I don't like to receive. I love to give, okay? And then Sean had to go mess it all up. But that's the thing. So like regardless what it is that you do with your life, these core values are going to guide you, whether you like them or not, okay? So I want us to pick no more than 5. The less you pick, the more aligned in what you want and who you are, okay? A good sort of process that I like to whenever coaching people through getting core values, go through the list, right? These are the most common core values. Go through the list, just check off ones that you feel relate to you, right? Then circle back and just start narrowing them down, all right? Think of big life situations, and these will guide you, okay? So like for compassion, for me, anytime there was an issue in here, or especially during COVID, there was never, you suck, you're cool. I was compassionate towards everybody because everybody was struggling. We were trying to work through it together, right? So it wasn't me against certain individuals. It was more along the lines of that. So using COVID as an example to say, hey, did this really fit who I was? Absolutely, all right? So like I said, go through, just kind of check off. I'm gonna play some music, get us another 5-minute clock. Take your time here. If you have any questions, holler. Actually, pause really quick, sorry. One thing I will say, a lot of these core values sort of intertwine. Right? Success and influence, we could agree, are pretty relevant. Just pick one that means more to you. Cool? All right, now get to work. How was that? Was that fun? Who already knew their core values? Jamie, Liz, Tiff, nice. Now you guys know, right? And remember them too, right? Like I said, they're a subconscious thing, so it's not like you guys need to sit around and memorize all 5 of them, right? Even off the top of my head, I sort of froze a little bit. But it's hard because there's so many, right? There's so many that make you who you are. But these core ones really drive everything you do in your life.
Someone told me once, you know your core values when you reflect on your pet peeves.
That's true. That is true. I'm trying to think of my pet peeves. People not reserving for class. But I still can't get mad, you know. I'm still compassionate, I guess. I'm like, I get it. This is the 7th time you haven't reserved, but gotcha. All right, cool. Let's move on, guys. So now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of it all. I'm going to give you guys a lot of time to work on this. So goals and habits, okay? 3 of my main rules when it comes to goals and habits. 1, I have I think 6 categories that we're going to sort of roll with. You need to be specific here. Goals, dates, people, measurements, etc. Okay, again, we need something to measure. That's what's going to get us closer to our goals. If I say I want $1 million, it's like, okay, cool, you know. But I will have $1 million because I want to build a very, very sweet gym for my CrossFit leveling people, right? Now there's significance tied to it. Again, there's using those soft words in the present tense. And would like to possibly, probably, none of that. Get that out of here, all right? So for each goal, we're also going to add the because, and you kind of heard me say that. That's that significance that comes along with it, and that gives you your core values, right? You don't have to say, you know, I'm compassionate, so I want to build a big gym or influence or whatever, but it's something related to it, right? Because again, if I want a 200-pound snatch, but if there's no significance tied to it, anytime I have to do my snatch work, I'm going to be like, nah, I'll skip that for the other day. Cool? So just a good example is, and then you're also going to add a habit to it. So you'll see there's 2 sections. There's a goal and a habit. So for goal 1, add a habit 1. Okay? So example would be by December of 2023, I'll be working out daily because I want to influence my family and friends to live an active life. My habit tied to that is a half hour of daily intentional movement, right? Does that sort of make sense? I said what my goal will be. I added my significance to it. I said my core value or influence, and then I attached a habit. Cool? And then try to, with these habits, create a daily habit, all right? Weekly habits are fine, monthly are fine, but you can't measure that as much, right? Consistency is going to win in whatever it is you do in your life, whether that's financially, relationship-wise, work-wise, gym-wise, excuse me. So find something that daily you are making that a habit, and then that's just going to become something that you subconsciously do, get you to your goals, all right? Does that sort of make sense? So as far as the areas that we're going to goal set, fitness, the questions are, what do you want your fitness to look like? Any milestones that you want to reach? For your health, what is your health? What do you want your health to look like? So blood work, weight, measurements, medications, that sort of thing. Lifestyle, how do you want your daily life to look like, daily living to look like? So like water intake, stress management, meditation, journaling, sleep, those things that promote your lifestyle. Relationships, you know, what do you want your relationship, spouse, family, friends, coworkers, coach? What do you want those relationships to look like? Do you need to create boundaries with Coach Manny, all right? Financial, what do you want the finances? So earning, savings, investing, that sort of thing. And then last is going to be self-improvement, podcasts, books, seminars, mentorship, that sort of thing, all right? You don't have to do all these areas. Just pick a few, okay? But again, I feel like if we're going to goal set, let's goal set for life, right? Let's just not get some fitness goals. Cool? So if you guys have an idea, again, get into these areas. If one's more than the other, that's totally fine. If you don't put any for one or you need to put that down later, totally fine as well. Cool? So this one I'm going to give us about 15-ish minutes. I'll kind of see. Reminds me of school. Once you guys are done, put your pens down, please, so I know that you were. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, take your time here, guys. I mean, I'll turn up the music. We'll just hang out. Cool? Any questions? Get to it. let's go ahead and flip it. We're going to dive into our mantras now. My absolute favorite when it comes to anything. This is very similar to what Tiffany was saying about affirmations. Okay, mantras are I am statements. Who do you need to become to achieve these goals, right? One thing that I've been saying, and it's going to happen eventually, is, I'm going to marry Kinsey, right? When I want to think about that, or when I'm planning for that, I need to tell myself that I'm a great husband, right? I need to start thinking about who I need to become for this person, for this gym. So the example I use still kind of goes off that influence, but I am my own product. So what I'm telling you guys to do, I'm doing the same. I will intentionally move daily to influence those around me to live an active lifestyle which will promote their life, right? I want to influence you guys, but I need to prove that this works and that this is significant, okay? So when you write these I am statements, write the quality of the goals that you want. Go through each set of your goals that you've already written, whether it's through fitness, whether it's financial. I am a great investor. I'm going to put all of my savings into an asset so that way I can generate wealth for my kids, children, whatever they're called, okay? So you guys will take it off of your goals though, right? So you're not just grabbing stuff from midair. Look at your goals now. Who do you need to become to achieve those goals, okay? I always say do at least 10. There's some that are gonna probably overlap, right? But I need you guys to, right now, give me 10, at least 10 or whatever you have as far as goals-wise. And then same thing as Tiffany said, okay? A good routine that really, again, promoted my personal life. I put them right by my bedside, okay? I had a list of, I think, 7 or 8, maybe 9 mantras. And every morning before I came to the gym, I read those to myself. And you read them, and you say, I am so-and-so. And then you believe it, right? So then I was showing up to 5 a.m. class, and it wasn't as grumpy. It was weird. It was totally weird. You stop that. 6:15 was different. 5 a.m. My goal, my goal specifically said 5 a.m. only. It did not include 6:15, okay? So I was very specific on which class. I definitely need to edit it. Cool, but do the mantras make sense, guys? I am. Who do you need to become? Cool? All right, let's get to it. I'm going to give us about 5-ish minutes. So next time I need to give us like an hour and a half, huh? To actually go through all this stuff. Yeah. How'd the mantras come out? Pretty good? Exciting, right? And you guys can share these with me if you want. I always want to know what your guys' goals are, kind of who you want to become. That makes me excited, right? Like that really, truly makes me excited when I know who you want to become, and I can help with that, right? Either hold you accountable, or just reinforce it, or just tell you when you're not acting kind of in line with that too. So, and I'll make sure to embarrass you in front of everybody, right?
You got no shame in that game.
No shame in embarrassing anybody. But here's the thing, I also embarrass myself, so, you get used to it. All right, cool. Last thing we're going to go over, we're going to run right up to the hour, and I want to make sure I answered all you guys' questions too. Last thing is habit tracking, okay? This is all my favorite, so I'll say again, this is also my favorite thing, is tracking these habits daily, okay? Reflecting on them every single day. So I like to do it at the end of the day, right when I'm in bed and I just finished journaling. I have a sheet. If you look at the sheet behind this, you're going to see this is a actual habit tracking sheet. You can use a graph paper. You can make copies of this. There's so many different things. But so what I'll do is I'll list out my habits, right? So I get all of my habits out, and each day I say, did I move my body for a half hour intentional movement? Did I eat 3 veggies a day? Did I drink half my body weight in ounces of water? Phone, journal, that sort of thing. Just track it, okay? Why this is important, is because it doesn't matter if you want to get better at eating on the weekends or during the week. We just need to get better at eating, right? So instead of just saying I want to stick to my macros on the weekend, that's fine, but why not? Let's do it every single day, okay? Even though your weekends are a huge part of the week, it's what, like 45%, I think, if you count, Friday afternoon or whatever. So just track them daily. It doesn't matter if it's on the weekend or not. The example I gave here was directly from my book, okay? And you'll see first 5 days look pretty solid, and then the weekends hit, okay? And then the next 4 days, 5 days, whatever, look pretty solid, right? Why this is important? Because how many of us just give us, whenever we fail, how many of us just give up after we fail, right? I did the weekend, I checked off 3 things out of all those boxes. I could have just been like, you know what, this is silly, this is dumb. But that's not what's important, right? Those 2 days don't define us. It's now those next 5 days. So you can look at those 2 days and say, damn, Manny, you suck, you only did 3 of those. Or you can zoom out and look how much, there's far more X's than there are blanks. That's what we need to focus on. Now you guys fill out this sheet and you look at what does a month look like? What does 2 months look like? What does 6 months, a year? Those are the consistent habits that are going to get you to your goals. Not this Sunday that you decided to get funky at AKA Kitchen and get bottomless mimosas, am I right? Amen. Right? Amen. Amen. So now that you guys have your habits, I usually say don't track no more than maybe like 10 at a time, maybe less than that, right? You don't want to overwhelm yourself, but find these habits that are going to get you to your goals. And what's beautiful with this is you guys can go through a month, and let's just say for me, my least one was maybe reading for a half hour a day. Maybe that was too much for me, right? Now I say, all right, dude, just read for 10 minutes a day. Now I can go back and look, and now I check those off a lot more. I'm like, that's perfect, okay? All I need to do is consume knowledge. It doesn't matter for how long as I get 10 minutes, or maybe I do pages, whatever it is, right? So this is that data that you could always measure and continually get better. Cool? Do you guys have any questions for me on anything we talked about? I'm that good. Are you sure? All right, cool. Guys, again, take your time with this. If you guys need to go back, revisit it, do whatever. The biggest things I would say is track your habits, put your mantras where you could see them, okay? Anything you wish to share for me, please share away, all right? Hey, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate this. Dude, I swear, if we don't make 2023 the best damn year yet, you will never be allowed back at CrossFit Loveland. Deal? Deal. All right, guys. Thank you so much.